Buyers, does your real estate agent represent you for free? Your agent is not on a salary, so your agent covers all the costs associated with acting as your fiduciary until such time as you close on a property. If the seller of the property you purchase has agreed to offer a buyer broker commission, that amount is deducted from the net on the sale of the house you, the buyer, just paid. The commission is paid to the agent's broker, and the broker then pays a portion of that amount to your agent based on their commission agreement. To be clear, it is absolutely not a requirement for the seller to offer a buyer broker commission, yet it has become standard practice. Why? Number one, buying a home requires a great deal of cash up front to pay the down payment and closing costs. Buyers must also have sufficient cash reserves remaining in the bank after closing. As such, most buyers do not have the ready cash to pay their own broker. Number two, if a buyer cannot pay their agent, they may opt not to use one. Most buyers are ill-prepared to project manage the myriad complexities involved in a purchase. There is a high risk that when up against a represented seller, they will not be protected when negotiating price and terms and managing issues that arise during inspection, appraisal, lending, and title and insurance. Buyers may even lean heavily on the seller's agent, whose primary fiduciary duty is to the seller, not the buyer. And three, if sellers decide not to offer compensation to the buyer broker, buyers may decide not to view that listing. A critical point that often gets lost is that though the seller may elect to offer compensation, that money was only available to the seller because you, the buyer, gave it to the seller in the first place. In that scenario, the buyer reduces their upfront costs by passing the funds through to the closing table where the seller pays them from the net. From that perspective, both the buyer and the seller are paying their respective agents for their services, and the seller and buyer are really sharing the costs and mutual benefits of having worked exclusively with the fiduciary who represented their own interests. Your agent can determine in advance if the property you are interested in is offering compensation, and if so, how much. So what happens if the seller has not agreed to offer compensation to your agent? If you make an offer on that property, you can direct your agent to include all or part of your agent's commission as part of the offer, or you can agree to pay your agent out of your pocket at closing, or some combination thereof. Either way, the agreement as to how you will pay your agent for their services must be established before your agent shows you any properties, and the commission percentage you pay them is entirely negotiable. So, though your agent covers all the costs associated with getting you to the closing table, they will be remunerated if and when you close on your home. I'm Zebee Amy Voss, offering singular service for singular clients and their singular properties.